Is Erin here for the declaration?
Thank you. The Declaration of Animal Rights. Since the dawn of humanity, there remains a group so persistently abused and marginalized that their suffering is ingrained in our everyday lives. If animals could freely talk, their chorus of cries would drown out every other sound in the world. We are all animals. We are all living, breathing beings who share the same earth. We all feel pain and suffering when we are hurt or deprived of our lives, our families, our freedom. We all have the right to experience kindness, compassion, and dignity. We believe in the kinship of all beings and the possibility for us to coexist in peace and harmony on planet Earth. Considering that all living beings on planet Earth came originally from the same source and follow the same evolutionary principles. Considering that all living beings on planet Earth inhabit the same land, seas, and air, and therefore share them and their resources to live within and to live off of, comprising one ecological system. Considering that all living beings possess the same basic needs to survive, to seek happiness and pleasure and avoid pain, to live comfortably, to procreate, create families and other social structures. Considering that all living beings, as known to humankind, are sentient beings and therefore can feel pain, pleasure, sensations, feelings, and emotions. Considering that the human species is only one of millions of animal species and comprises a minority in number compared to the billions of animals living on the planet, we hereby proclaim that we hold these truths to be self-evident, that all beings are created equal and have a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Therefore, all animals have the same natural right to exist as any other living being. All animals have the right to be free to live their lives on their own terms as intended by nature. All animals have the right to eat, sleep, be physically and psychologically comfortable, be mobile, healthy, safe, and fulfill all their natural essential needs. As such, all animals are to be free from hunger, thirst, and malnutrition, mistreatment, abusive or cruel actions, pain, injury, and disease, fear and stress, and free to express their normal patterns of behavior. All animals have the right to reproduce, live with their offsprings, families, tribes, or communities, and maintain a natural social life. They have the right to live in their natural environment, grow to a rhythm natural to their species, and maintain a life that corresponds to their natural longevity. Animals are not the property or commodity of humans and are not theirs to use for their benefit or sustenance. Therefore, they are to be free from slavery, exploitation, oppression, victimization, brutality, abuse, and any other treatment that disregards their safety, own free will, and dignity. They should not be slaughtered for food, killed for their skins, experimented on, killed for religious purposes, used for forced labor, abused and killed for sport and entertainment, abused for commercial profit, hunted, persecuted, or exterminated for human pleasure, need, or other ends. Humans shall do whatever is within their means to protect all animals. Any animal who is dependent on a human has the right to proper sustenance and care and shall not be neglected, abandoned, or killed. Animals who have died must be treated with respect and dignity as humans are. We call for the protection of these rights. They must be recognized and defended by law as human rights are. Any act which compromises the well-being or survival of an animal or species, or jeopardizes, contradicts, or deprives any animal or species of the right listed above, should be deemed a crime and should be punished accordingly. This is the declaration for all animals who inhabit this earth. Thank you.
Thank you, Erin. And we have our next speaker, Sarai Perez.
So, I'm going to say the same thing, but in Spanish. Okay. Desde el comienzo de la humanidad, quedó un grupo tan persistentemente maltratado y marginalizado que su sufrimiento permanece profundamente arraigado en nuestra vida cotidiana. Si los animales pudiesen hablar, su coro de gritos ahogaría cualquier otro sonido del mundo. Todos somos animales. Todos nosotros somos seres que respiramos y compartimos la misma tierra. Todos sentimos dolor y sufrimos cuando nos lastiman o nos privan de nuestra vida, de nuestra familia, nuestra libertad. Todos tenemos el derecho a experimentar la bondad, la compasión y la dignidad. Nosotros creemos en el parentesco de todos los seres y en la posibilidad de que convivamos en paz y armonía con el planeta Tierra, considerando que todo ser viviente del planeta Tierra proviene originalmente de la misma fuente y que seguimos los mismos principios evolutivos, considerando que todo ser viviente del planeta Tierra habita las mismas tierras, los mismos mares y el mismo aire, y que por tanto compartimos los mismos recursos que necesitamos para vivir, formando un sistema ecológico. Considerando que todo ser viviente posee las mismas necesidades, las de sobrevivir, buscar la felicidad y el placer y evitar el sufrimiento, de vivir cómodamente, reproducirse y formar familias y otras estructuras sociales. Considerando que todo ser viviente, tal y como conoce la humanidad, es un ser sensible y por lo tanto siente dolor, placer, sensaciones, sentimientos y emociones. Considerando que la especie humana es solo una de las millones de especies de animales que existen y que forma una minoría en comparación a los miles de millones de animales que viven en este planeta. Por tanto, nosotros proclamamos que consideramos que estas verdades son evidentes por sí mismas, que todos los seres son creados iguales, con derecho a la vida, libertad y la búsqueda de su felicidad. Por consiguiente, todos los animales tienen el mismo derecho innato a existir como cualquier otro ser viviente. Todos los animales tienen derecho a ser libres, a vivir sus vidas en sus propios términos, según la intención de la naturaleza. Todos los animales tienen derecho a comer, dormir, estar física y psicológicamente cómodos, poder moverse y mantener sano y a salvo, para satisfacer sus necesidades naturales y esenciales. Como tales, todos los animales han de ser libres de hambre, de sed y de la desnutrición, del agotamiento y del malestar físico, del confinamiento contra su voluntad, malos tratos, actos abusivos o crueles, dolor, lesiones o enfermedades, miedo y angustia, y poder manifestar los patrones naturales de su comportamiento. Todos los animales tienen derecho a reproducirse, vivir con sus propias crías, familias, tribus o comunidades y mantener una vida social natural. Tienen el derecho a vivir en su ambiente natural, de crecer al ritmo natural de su especie y que la duración de su vida corresponda a su longevidad natural. Los animales no son propiedades ni productos de los seres humanos, ni les pertenecen para su beneficio o sustento. Por lo tanto, los animales deben ser libres de esclavitud, explotación, opresión, victimización, persecución, brutalidad, abuso y cualquier otro trato que desconsidere su seguridad, propia voluntad y dignidad. No deben ser matados para ser usados como alimento, matados por sus pieles, ser sometidos a experimentos, matados por fines religiosos, utilizados para trabajos forzados, abusados y matados en deportes o entretenimiento, abusados por beneficios comerciales, cazados, perseguidos o exterminados por placer humano, necesidad u otros fines. Los humanos deben hacer lo que esté a su alcance para proteger a todos los animales. Cualquier animal que dependa de un humano tiene derecho a un sustento apropiado y ser cuidado y no ser desatendido, abandonado o matado. Los animales que hayan fallecido deben ser tratados con respeto y dignidad, igual que los humanos. Hacemos un llamamiento para la protección de estos derechos. Deben ser reconocidos y defendidos por ley, como lo son los derechos humanos. Cualquier acto que ponga en peligro el bienestar o la supervivencia de un animal o una especie, o que perjudique, contradiga o prive a un animal o especie de los derechos mencionados anteriormente, debe ser considerado un crimen y, por tanto, deberá ser castigado acordemente. En fe lo cual, esta declaración se suscribe hoy, 1 de junio de 2025, el Día Nacional de los Derechos Animales en la ciudad de Nueva York. Gracias. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. So in this movement, as you know, there are organizers, there are people at home behind their keyboards, there are people having conversations with friends and family, and then there are people who just show up to every event. So many of you have seen so many times, people like Eddie, like Evan, Y'all are always here. Thank you so much. This next speaker is one of those people. She also is my co-conspirator at We the Free, Myra Violets. Let's go!
Yeah, can I use this? Hi, everyone. Thank you for being here to honor National Animal Rights Day. A little over 8 years ago, I became vegan and quickly became an animal rights activist. Like most of us here, the day I became vegan is the day my worldview changed. My goals and aspirations were upended. I had to reshape myself as I started to question everything. As the years have gone by, I have gained a better grasp of the horror of the situation in which the animals find themselves in. But the depth of their suffering is hard to grasp. However, as animal rights activists, most of us strive to understand what the animals have gone through. We bear witness, and we are all here because we have chosen to open our eyes and get closer. This is the only form of redemption we can find in a world that is filled with apathy, greed, and selfishness. I have seen a big change in the world since I first became an activist. When I started doing activism back in 2018, it was extremely hard or rare to come across a vegan, and very rare to meet a passerby who knew a vegan, but nowadays it is very rare to not come across a vegan, and even more rare to come across someone who doesn't know a vegan family member or a vegan friend. I have observed a similar shift happening in the amount of vegan food in restaurants available worldwide. These changes are happening because of activists like us who have persevered. We all dream of a vegan world where animal liberation prevails, but we do not need to make every single person vegan to make this happen. All we need is a cultural transformation where exploitation and cruelty are looked down on, and kindness and compassion are celebrated. We will make this happen while understanding that this is a long game that requires our commitment. There is no justice for animals in this world unless we create it, and no freedom for them unless we demand it. The animals don't stand a chance if we don't fight for them, so we can never give up. It is easy to feel despair, and sometimes we feel so helpless as we stand against the world, while continuously struggling and spiraling in confusion as we try to come to terms with the fact that the animals we love and care for so deeply are suffering and we can't save them. But how can we possibly ever come to terms with this truth? We cannot accept this truth, and we never will, and so we persevere. I want to simply remind all of us of a fundamental truth. Animals are living beings with feelings, fears, and joys, just like us. They experience pain and happiness, they have families and friends, and enjoy activities that bring them pleasure. Recognizing this truth is about acknowledging their capacity to feel and their right to live with compassion. It's a reminder to us all to treat animals with the respect and care they inherently deserve. For those of us who are fortunate enough to have loved and been loved by an animal, we understand that these relationships form some of the highest forms of bonds we can experience. They teach us about loyalty, trust, and unconditional love. Animal rights is a matter of justice, but unconditional love for animals is what keeps me going, and I hold on to that. Let this love be the light that moves you forward, and do not let despair drown your voice, and we will one day deliver the animals to freedom. Thank you.
Thank you, Myra. We actually lost some speakers today, so I wanted to fill something in that one of them was going to cover that I think is really important. Because as activists primarily devoted to farmed animals and sea life, we can sometimes lose sight of the others caught in humanity's wake. Koalas and kangaroos fleeing wildfire, marine life poisoned by runoff and oil, animals displaced by war and invasion, silkworms boiled alive for fabric. And then there are those that we deem threats to our way of life. Rats and cockroaches with whom we share the city, wild boars, deer, and coyotes hunted under the banner of conservation, and the lanternfly, a creature of striking beauty, vivid, fragile, and unwanted, stripped of moral standing, marked invasive, caught in the crosshair of yet another man-made disaster. Like all the rest, they are simply trying to live. Vicky, you want to come on up?
Yes. Hey everyone, how are you doing? Thank you for coming up. Thank you everyone for organizing, Royce, Austin, They put a lot of effort, to do this, and it's great to see that, there's still someone that can find a couple of hours a week to spend for the most oppressed ones on this planet. So this song is called Nothing at All, and I wrote it as if I was in the victim's perspective, and I hope you're gonna like it. Imagine suffocating to your last breath, adrenaline exploding deep inside your chest. Your body's burning, it's out of control. It only gets worse, it only hurts more. You smash your own head against the wall. It's the worst pain you feel before you drop on the floor. But sometimes you don't die till the knife slits your throat. Now the blood is seeping into your mouth as they drag you around to be hung upside down. That's been your fate since you've met the world. Nothing but less, just less than nothing at all. Nothing but flesh inside of a plastic tray. Nothing but wool outside of a pillowcase. Nothing but breast milk to pour in a coffee. No, nothing but less, just less than nothing at all. Nothing but flesh inside of a sushi roll. Nothing but skin outside of a basketball. Nothing but eggs to mix into breakfast. No, nothing but less, just less than nothing at all. Nothing but shows inside of a petting zoo. Nothing but fur outside of a jacket hood. Nothing but numbers to win on a gamble. No, nothing but less, just less than nothing at all. Every second, humans exploit and kill 40,000 animals across the globe. These sentient beings are denied autonomy and freedom over their own bodies. Their lives are reduced to commodities, valued only for what humans can extract from them. That's why veganism is not a diet, it's not a lifestyle. It is a principle of justice. The belief that animals deserve liberation from human exploitation. It is not the most we could do. It is the least. Nothing but skin. Nothing but just nothing at all. 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 Thank you guys, thank you so much. Yeah, if you want to dance, you know, it's okay to dance. So, once again, my name is Vicky. I'm gonna put this song out very soon. I hope you guys can share it. There's gonna be a video. You know, it's important to share this message around the world. Yeah, let's just dance a few minutes, okay? Oh! Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Nothing at all. Just less than nothing at all. Thank you guys. Thank you, everyone.
So while he breaks down, I'm going to invite up Shauna. As you know, pigeons were being kidnapped in this city earlier this year, sold and exploited for profit.
Just throwing them in the bags. You guys have a great night, man. Thank you. Gotta get it up for the good God. Sneeze it.
Hi, guys. This is a really beautiful poem. I'm just kind of standing in and wanted to recite it. Just felt like it was appropriate for today because they're citizens of the city just like us, right? Pigeons. Here it goes. In the labyrinth of streets and soaring towers, pigeons move with quiet purpose, their wings whispering against the urban roar, carrying the weight of countless stories. Feathers of ash and iridescent shimmer, they shimmer in the sunlight, each one a living testament to resilience, a symbol of endurance amid chaos. They are the city's silent witness, watching generations pass beneath their gaze, their eyes reflecting the pulse of life. The hurried footsteps, the distant sirens, the quiet moments of solace in park corners. From narrow alleyways to grand boulevards, they navigate with instinct and grace, riding the wind, gliding over rooftops, a dance of freedom in concrete canyons. Yet, beneath their elegance lies vulnerability, a shadow cast by greed and cruelty, kidnapped for profit, torn from their natural flight, their trust exploited, their lives disrupted. Their innocence bartered away in secret chambers, their wings clipped, their spirits confined. It is a tragedy, a betrayal of the beings whose presence enriches our city's fabric. They are more than mere city birds. They are messengers of hope, bearers of resilience and grace, deserving of love and care. Let us remember their silent strength, their capacity to endure against the odds, and recognize that they too deserve respect, not just as symbols of urban beauty, but as living beings with a right to freedom. For in their flight, there lies a lesson that even in the hardest places, beauty and perseverance can thrive, and that our compassion can give wings to those who need it the most. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Our next performer is Natalie Asport.
Put this hat on so that way I didn't have the sunglasses blocking, but my hat might fly away. If you catch it, just wear it for the rest of the song. I'd be honored if another vegan wore the hat. So, yeah, it's good. Okay. Hi, my name is Natalie Asport, and I'm gonna sing a song dedicated to activists. So all of you here, and yeah, I hope you enjoy it. And I hope Amanda enjoys it especially. Yes. Okay. See the ending of the ocean going by. See the ending of the ocean going by. But you had the power, but you chose to hide. But you had the power, but you pretended not to know why. See the forest as it goes under the metal siege. See the forest become nothing through the trees. But you had the will, but you chose to dismiss. But you had the will, but the taste you would miss. See the ending of the life before your eyes. You beg to be guarded from the truth and live a lie, but you have the power, and we need to address that we have the power. Our dollars chose this. See the buckling of their knees as they stand, holding posters and picket signs with freezing hands. But they have the power, they choose to resist. They have the power, oh boy, do they know this? Thank you so much. I'm Natalie Asport, and thanks for being here and supporting the animals. Yeah, I'll play another one. I'll play one more. Oh wait, well, this is I'll play a more mellow, I guess, mellow song, and this is a sing-along. I mean, there's a lot. It's a dark song, but it's also cheerful, and it's coming out. I'm gonna just promote it. It's coming out this year. It's called Smell the Coffee. You know that whole phrase, like, one day you're going to wake up and smell the coffee, and coffee's a good smell, but, like, sometimes, eventually shit hits the fan and you have to wake up. So this, yeah, if you enjoy. One day you're gonna wake up and smell the coffee. You're gonna roll up the windows. One day you're gonna wake up and smell the coffee.
You're gonna roll up the windows. One day you're gonna wake up and smell the coffee. You're gonna roll up the windows. One day you're gonna wake up and smell the coffee. You're gonna roll up the windows. Whoa, 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 whoa. Well, is it alright if I just stand here and wait? Oh, is it alright if I just cry? Am I unaware or just unprepared for what's coming my way? I may be blind, but I'm not dumb. The situation I don't know, I still pray. Times I don't understand or comprehend. Try to learn the facts before I judge away. One day you're gonna wake up and smell the coffee. You're gonna roll up the windows. One day you're gonna wake up and smell the coffee. You're gonna roll up the windows. One day you're gonna wake up and smell the coffee. You're gonna roll up the windows. One day you're gonna wake up and smell the coffee. You're gonna roll up the windows. Whoa, oh, whoa, oh, oh. Oh, 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 whoa, oh, whoa, oh. Oh, oh, whoa, whoa, oh, whoa, oh. Oh, 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 whoa, oh. All right, this is now your turn to sing. One day you're gonna wake up smelling the coffee. One day you're gonna smell the coffee. You're gonna wake up and smell the coffee. Roll up the windows. One day you're gonna wake up and smell the coffee. Roll up the windows. Keep going. Whoa, oh, whoa, oh, oh. Oh, 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 whoa, oh, whoa, oh, oh. Oh, oh, whoa, whoa, oh, whoa, oh. Oh, 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 whoa, oh, whoa, oh. Oh, oh, oh. Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you, Royce, and all the organizers as well. Have a good one. Bye.
So, because we have a little bit of time, we had this idea of sort of just opening up the floor. A lot of what this is about is drawing attention to animals' individuality and seeing them as person. So we had one person step up to just share their experience about their own relationship with animals and what a day like this today means to them. Give it up for Steven.
Nuzini!
Greetings, everyone. Thank you to everyone that put this together. This is a great, meaningful event. It just feels great to know that around the world on today, right now, literally across the globe, there's a group of people coming together to help create awareness about the suffering that's going on that's completely unnecessary to animals. And to know there's people coming all across the globe coming together to come to an event like this is really, really impactful. And I just want to say I'm really happy to know that. I think we all should, you know. I had a cat growing up who was my absolute best friend. You know, some people have people as their best friends, but some of us have animals as well. And there was something mystical about him. He wasn't an ordinary cat, and I never got to have a memorial service for him or anything. I had him for like over 14 years. His name was Leo, and Leo was my absolute best friend. One day he just disappeared, you know, maybe it's best that way, you know, who knows, I don't know what happened to him. but I would call him. He was an outdoor-indoor cat. We had a very unique relationship. All my friends, even my friends that didn't like cats, they still liked Leo. He was the kind of cat, which is rare, where you call him, he would come to you, even if he didn't know you. You know, you could be walking on the street and you say his name, Leo, he's coming to greet you, and he would want to be pet, he'd want to be played with, and he was really just a great animal. There are times I would walk outside and I would yell to the whole neighborhood, Leo, Leo, Leo. And out of nowhere, I'd hear these little bells, and this cat would come running to me from my neighbor's, 4 houses down, out of some random bushes. This cat, my best friend Leo, would come running to get food or just say hi, just either by calling him. He was really, we all have this relationship with our pets, but I think on today, a National Animal Rights Day, it's about bringing up the message, take it even further, that's really about all animals. Why love one, like our dog or our cat, and then eat another? It doesn't make sense. So to me, I understand veganism is the ethical and moral principles that humanity should not exploit animals. Humanity should not exploit animals. Woo! And to know that there's a day dedicated that is another step in the right direction. To me, veganism isn't only a lifestyle or a dietary way of life, it's also one of the next steps in humanity's evolution. And to know people are doing this across the globe, we're heading in that direction to end suffering for a species and all species overall. Thank you so much. God bless Leo.
Thank you so much, Stephen. Paige, do you want to come on up? And after Paige, Royce is going to say a few words, and then I'm going to wrap up.
Hello. I just kind of wanted to tell a little bit about my story of how I connected with the animals and felt like a huge hypocrite, like I think many of us do when we first become vegan. I think it's amazing that all of you guys are up here sharing how we feel, what we've recognized, and trying to make the world a better place. And just like some of you have said already, it's definitely happening, and we need to keep up that optimism and know that we're making a difference and that the world is going to completely change. Like they said, like restaurants and grocery stores, we see it all over the place, that we are making a difference, and each and every individual one of you is a part of that. And all of our stories are important and how we connect to the animals. I grew up being like bullied and sexually abused a lot of my life, and I sat wondering in my room alone most of the time growing up about how people can be so horrendous and disgusting and not even think about me and what they can get from me, and that's it. And when I sat there and watched Dominion, I realized that I was one of those people, that I never thought about the victim on my plate. It made me think about women's rights and racism and getting rid of segregation and all of that, those things. When I was in school, I couldn't believe how people treated each other. And now I understand that we all can be susceptible to culture, and that means that anyone can change. And we have to remember that when we're talking to people. We have to remember that when we're spreading our message, that no matter how dark many people may seem, may act, that everyone has a spark of light in them. We all come from the same place, and it's our job to bring that out in them. Also, I made this shirt. If you want it, my socials and stuff, I have a card.
Okay, thank you. We're going to have James Moody read a poem.
So this is a poem from the 10th century by a poet called Al-Amari. He's an Arab poet, and he's was outspoken on a number of issues way ahead of his time, but the fundamentals of veganism had been around for well over 1,000 years, even long before that. So this is Al-Amari's poem translated to English. Do not unjustly eat the fish the water has given up, and do not desire as food the flesh of slaughtered animals. or the white milk of mothers who intended its pure draught for their young, not noble ladies. And do not grieve the unsuspecting birds by taking eggs, for injustice is the worst of crimes. And spare the honey which the bees get industrially from the flowers of fragrant plants, for they did not store it that it might belong to others, nor did they gather it for bounty and gifts. I washed my hands of all of this, and I wish that I perceived my way before my hair went gray.
Okay, so now we're sort of moving on to the healing part of this. This is where we come together. We thank each other for all the work that we're doing, and we look forward towards the future. So first, before we get into that, I just want Eric to come up really quickly. Animal Activism Collective is one of the most reputable animal rights organizations in the country. Right now, they're doing something called the Convergence, which is a 9-day event where people from all over the country come to do activism here in New York. Today is one of those days, so I just wanted to have him tell you about it really quickly, and if you want to join them afterwards, where to meet.
Hey everyone, my name's Eric. I'm here representing Animal Activism Collective. I prepared a very short speech that I'm going to read off, and then I'm going to hand it back over. NARD has always been a somber event. It is a tangible reminder that billions of animals are beaten, abused, and murdered every year by humans in the name of profit. I am here to give you a chance to take our mourning and stop more of that from happening and more of that from being done today. I am here to speak on behalf of the Duck Alliance, an international alliance of activists dedicated to the abolition of foie gras. So, I'm going to assume everybody knows what foie gras is. It's a disgusting practice where they shove metal pipes down baby birds' throats. I am here asking you to lend your voices to our campaign and to join us directly after this protest. We'll be meeting underneath this Share the Road sign if you care to join. Thank you so much to Royce and the other organizers for giving me the opportunity to speak up for these ducks and geese. Also a shout out to Rachel. I haven't seen you in the crowd, but I have a suspicion you're here. I appreciate NARD because it is honest. Every year, vegan social media accounts tell us that we are winning because some corporation introduced a plant-based nugget or other minor victory. But this event shows us the reality. Year after year, abusers set new records for the number of animals bred, imprisoned, tortured, and murdered by humans. The sad truth is we're not winning. We cannot go quietly and wait on the world to change around us. A glance at the last year shows us that progress is not an inevitability. The percentage of vegans in the world changes at a glacial pace. We owe it to the animals not to wait for the world to change around us, but to demand change. Change is fought for by people like you taking a stand and lending your voice to these campaigns. We must always have humility and reevaluate our approaches and examine which strategies are working. We owe that to the animals. Last year, we saw landslide victories for the animals. Fashion titans such as Marc Jacobs, Max Moore, and Anne Fontaine all gave us fur-free policies after nationwide pressure campaigns. And High Hospitality, a chain worth almost $250 million, gave us a foie gras-free policy. These brands alone count for tens of thousands of animals not being skinned alive or having metal pipes shoved down their throats in the name of profit. But it doesn't stop there. This is just a fraction of our wins. Last year, over 40 brands stopped selling fur and committed to never again participate in this barbaric practice. Over 100 brands gave us foie gras-free policies. These campaigns are succeeding. Recent years have brought us some of the most impactful wins for our social justice movement's history. These wins matter to the hundreds of millions of animals who are caged, electrocuted, gassed, beaten to death, and skinned alive for their fur every year, or the millions of baby birds that have pipes shoved down their throats, who develop fatty liver disease and are slaughtered in the name of a so-called delicacy. These wins also matter to the billions of fish, chickens, and other beautiful individuals who were slaughtered just to feed them. These campaigns extend beyond fur and foie gras. If we cannot defeat two of the least popular industries of all time, then can we seriously hope to end the industries that torment and kill the most animals? We will be condemned to forever suggest change instead of demanding change. In order to achieve animal liberation, we must create a model to defeat entire industries. It starts with fur and foie gras, and for more reasons than I can get into right now, it starts with Condé Nast and Omni Hotels at this very moment. We are using these campaigns to explore new and old tactics, from traditional store protests to home demos to direct action. We are building a model to achieve animal liberation. This is why 60 of the country's best activists, including some of the most prolific animal liberators of all time, traveled here to this very city in the past 3 days to participate in these campaigns. We are gathering in this city. I don't know if you know, but right now there are 60 activists going around doing these protests, doing these pressure campaigns, and enacting change. They are only here for a week and a half, but I'm going to ask all of you, if you feel even an inclination to come out and join us, please meet after this event. We'll be meeting over here, right under this Share the Road. I'm going to be taking anyone who is interested over to a peaceful protest. It will be nonviolent. We will stand there and use our voices to speak up for the voiceless. Thank you for your time.
Hello, everyone. Thank you again for being here at National Animal Rights Day, the 15th annual National Animal Rights Day. And I just want to say, it's amazing that you all came out today to be a representative of the animals and to do these campaigns. Also, I think it's important to do outreach. You know, we have two amazing international organizations, Anonymous for the Voiceless and We the Free. So it's only reasonable, I think, to go to these events, reach out to these people, talk to them about veganism, and then get them to the campaigns, to the pressure campaigns, so we can change policies. And that's all I want to share here today, okay? So thank you for having me. Thank you for allowing me to host. And thank you to Austin. Love you, man.
So this is the last speech. I think we should afterwards walk around Union Square. So we'll depart here, probably stay on the sidewalk, hold your signs up, and we'll take a nice peaceful walk around. This is not a animal rights rally. This is National Animal Rights Day, so we want to be sensitive. We'll still be saying stuff over the megaphone, but the focus is on the flowers, holding the animals, trying to make that connection to people. Okay. So I'd like to talk to you about the progress we're making as a movement, because we are, 15 years after the first National Animal Rights Day, greatly underestimating our progress. A few weeks ago, I had the privilege of attending the Animal and Vegan Advocacy Summit in LA, where I was surrounded by some of the brightest minds and organizations in the country and internationally. And while I met amazing people and learned a great deal, there were emerging themes, troubling themes echoed in conversations, on stage, and even in hallway whispers. Themes that I believe represent a successful propaganda campaign designed to convince us that what we are doing isn't working. The CEO of Beyond Meat publicly said, "It's not our time." British influencer Robbie Locke declared, "We've hit a wall." Others echoed, "We've lost momentum." And then came the same published articles, the same 3 recycled graphs. Sales of plant-based meats are down, vegan restaurants are closing, meat consumption and factory farming are on the rise. But rarely was there any level of sophisticated analysis. So, allow me to dispel the bullshit. It was said that alternative meat sales are down, but no one endeavored to tell us why. Is it really the people that are losing their taste for meat, as the New York Times so smugly suggested? Could it be that Wall Street, in its infinite wisdom, overestimated demand, and what we're in fact seeing is a correction, not a collapse? Could it be that the market is still on track to recover and grow with abundant new opportunity, as markets do? The pessimist said vegan restaurants are closing, but what kind of restaurants are we talking about? Are they franchises, independently owned, or do they have institutional support? Are they ventures created by first-time entrepreneurs and chefs without experience in the harrowing, risky world of new restaurants? The reality is that most vegan restaurants are passion-driven ventures founded on principle, not by profit. So let's be real. Some might fail because they're early, others might be underfunded or be in the wrong market. Or maybe, in some cases, the food just wasn't that good. But when the right variables and experiences are in place, such as with the City Roots Hospitality Group, which owns the Nixie and Beyond Sushi, where in the city, these vegan restaurants thrive. Their locations are constantly packed, and they keep opening more restaurants welcomed by vegans and non-vegan diners wherever they appear. I heard the naysayers posit that meat consumption and factory farming are on the rise, but that number is distorted by the mathematics of population growth, as well as by the concentrations of certain demographics that tip the scale. According to Tulane University, just 12% of the population in the United States is responsible for 50% of meat consumption. And within this cohort, notably composed of Gen Z men, within the last year, meat intake is up recently by 40%, a surge influenced by red pill ideology, authoritarianism, and performative masculinity. This is indeed a trend, a hyper-concentrated crisis of ego, but not an indicator of the health of our movement. And it goes deeper. The vast majority of increased global meat consumption is occurring in places such as Brazil and Southeast Asia. The metrics there are driven by rising incomes, investments from international banks, urbanization, and a perception of meat as a luxury or symbol of prosperity. These nations are at a distinctive point in their economic development and technological curve, and their shift towards higher meat consumption mirrors what happened decades ago in the West. But this too is sure to evolve. And one day, the moment take hold amongst these populations, and the groundwork laid by local activists in these countries will allow a groundswell of enlightened thinking and living to grow exponentially. This is how change spreads. Slowly at first, then all at once. The internet, too, took decades to become broadly adopted by many populations within specific demographics, even after the technology was fully developed. Social movements throughout history take time to travel the globe. In the 1830s, people in the northern United States were largely apathetic about slavery. Many benefited from it, and others actively supported it. The idea of the idyllic plantation family, or even the outrageous assertion that black people did not feel pain, was widespread. As British abolitionists had gained traction against dire public opinion odds, William Lloyd Garrison launched The Liberator in Boston, which publicly detailed descriptions and illustrations that exposed the inhumanity enslaved people were subject to. Frederick Douglass did the same thing in New York with his North Star publication. Activists would stand on street corners, handing out pamphlets and having conversations with strangers, just like we do when we stand in plazas like this, showing people slaughterhouse footage. Over the next 30 years, millions of conversations were had about the morality of slavery. From new ideas and reported truths, part of a nation embraced change, and many people would go on to risk their lives to express their patriotism and moral courage. As we know, the Civil War did not eradicate institutional racism, but the movement catalyzed a change of conscientiousness and changes to society, much of it born of the fearlessness of activists who refused to shut up. Much of it because of people like you. Meanwhile, in areas where education, media, and cultural capital are most concentrated per capita, meat consumption is declining, including in the UK, Norway, and in urban areas of the United States. In Germany, nearly 10% of the population now identifies as vegan, and more than half report actively reducing their intake of animal products. In 2024, an estimated 1 million people went vegan in the UK, and in 2025, veganuary participation has surged globally to 25.8 million, up from just 50,000 in 2017. But a much more interesting stat to me is how many American households have chosen to have a Thanksgiving without a turkey. In 2024, nearly 13% of US households opted for a turkey-free meal. It's called Thanks Living. This survey, by the way, was not conducted by an animal rights org. This is coming from the Butterball Togetherness Report, which guides turkey industry on market trends so they can adapt. This says far more about our cultural shift towards rejecting animals as commodities than broad, raw, and unexplored global sales numbers ever could. And then there's social media. Are y'all on TikTok? Have you seen these vegan influencers running up numbers? This past year, vegan-related hashtags on TikTok have amassed over 54 billion views, up from 44 billion in 2020. Vegan influencers are popping up every day on YouTube and other platforms. I recently spoke with Danny Ashay, the popular vegan influencer once known as Lifting Vegan Logic. I asked Danny if he felt his pro-vegan argument debunking content was effective. He looked at me and said, "Yes, you should see my DMs." Reddit/r/vegan has swelled to over 1.9 million subscribers, up from just 150K in 2015, with active daily engagement. And much more of what they read debunks myth, celebrates wins, and introduces and informs people through their first weeks of going vegan. Veganism is being defended factually, fiercely, and globally. Every time someone sees a cute animal online, stumbles upon activist content, watches slaughterhouse footage on a public screen, views one of the many ever more powerful documentaries showing versus telling viewers about the righteousness of our cause, or anytime someone open to change simply meets a happy, healthy vegan, something shifts. These moments, big or small, create new neural pathways, prompting people to rethink their relationship with animals and reconsider what's possible. They are evolving from cognitive dissonance. They are touched by reevaluations that unleash the compassionate inner vegan that's already there. And let's give weight to the anecdotes for a second. You all have, in combination, had thousands of conversations with people about animals. Is that defensive friend who once made fun of you for going vegan listening a little bit more? Mine are. Street outreachers. How many times have you comforted someone shedding tears when exposed to slaughterhouse footage? And how many of you have experienced the look in someone's eyes when they make the connection? One of the most telling recent encounters I've had is a subtle one. While doing street outreach underground in Union Square with We the Free, a group of teenage boys gathered around one of our activists holding a TV and started mocking and provoking him, as people sometimes do, before scampering away. But one of them, who was lingering in the back, turned around and came up to me. "I get it," he said. "Thank you for doing this." He shook my hand and walked away. This might not seem like a big deal, but it's a sign of the times. The wind is at our back because we have a winning argument and a just cause. And with these conversations, we're not just challenging beliefs that are deeply woven into people's identities, but we're planting seeds in the mind of the next generation. The future leaders, filmmakers, lawyers, doctors, and policymakers we meet today may one day be those who help scale this movement in ways we can't imagine. Consider this. The director of Dominion, a documentary that has inspired so many people to go vegan, was influenced by a personal turning point during a chance street outreach encounter. Please remember this. You never know who you're talking to. Your conversation could be the spark that changes everything. And how about the fact that veganism and animal rights are now being welcomed into public schools, not as a fringe idea, but as something children should learn about? The subject is presented as a conversation about life and a way to understand and embrace justice, compassion, and a better future. And we're being invited into these spaces. We're being invited into these discussions as thoughtful guides. So yes, I push back on the negative rhetoric and unsupportable reporting of negative trends. We have not hit a wall. We are building a platform upon which our movement will springboard in the future. And we're doing it without wealth, without power, and without violence. Of course, liberation can't come fast enough. We can always do better, and we will. But we can't believe for 1 second that what we're doing is not working. It is. So I say this with my whole being, and I say this from my heart. I'm proud to be allied with each and every one of you. Vegans, the disruptors challenging capitalist forces, the people who hold signs, the people who stay up late editing videos, those who craft comments online, those who show up even when it's hard, those willing to have tough conversations with friends and family. I love you and I admire you. Let us not stray from the reality animals face, from the victims, or from the work ahead. Let's lift each other up. Let us celebrate the victories, no matter how small. Thank you, and thank you again for coming here today.